Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Get started. So the concept that we discussed yesterday was, see, all my devices are a little slow today. I don't know why. Please bear with me if there is any delay. I hope you are able to see me, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay. We'll do one thing. So the last concept that we discussed yesterday was what will happen when a dipole is placed in external electric field, which is uniform, right? So what was the conclusion we draw? When we place a dipole in uniform electric field, it starts experiencing torque, right? When it is placed in a non-uniform electric field, what will happen to it?
Rotational and translation.
Translation.
Will experience rotational as well as translational force, right? So keeping all these points in mind, I want to give you another note as well. For, write it down, stable equilibrium, what should be the value of theta between P and E, and for unstable equilibrium, what should be the value for theta between P and E? Okay, so that's the question. So can someone tell me what you mean by stable and unstable equilibrium? Right, can someone tell me what is the meaning of stable and unstable equilibrium? Listen. See, suppose the object is held like this, okay. Now, if I hold it at its center of gravity, it is at equilibrium, right? Now, if I disturb the system, okay, if I try to apply an extra force this side, it is able to rotate, right? Now, what will happen once I release this force? Once I release the force, if the object is able to come back to its original position in the same path in which it was taken, okay, in the same path in which it was taken, then that kind of an equilibrium is what we call it as stable equilibrium. Now listen to unstable equilibrium. If I disturb the particle from its equilibrium position, to come back to its equilibrium, if it is taking a 180 degrees turn and then coming to this equilibrium, then that is what is called as unstable equilibrium. Guys, are you able to understand this? Right, I repeat
Yes,
it.
sir.
If I hold it like this, which is in equilibrium, if it is disturbed from the equilibrium, it will rotate. Once you release the force, if it is able to come back to its original position in the same path, by backtracing the same path in which it has traveled, then it is called as stable equilibrium. If it takes a 180 degree turn and then comes, then it is equilibrium. Okay, so for stable equilibrium, theta should be equal to 0 degrees, and for unstable equilibrium, theta should be equal to 180 degrees. So theta is what? Theta is the angle between P vector and E vector. Okay, so there is angle between P vector and E vector. Is it clear? So this is all about dipole. So with respect to a dipole, we saw what is the electric field due to a dipole at axial equatorial point and what will happen to a dipole when it is placed in external electric field. Okay. Now we will go to the next important topic in this chapter, which is called as Gauss law. So before we see Gauss law, we need to understand an important term called as electric flux. So electric flux is represented by a symbol, a circle and a line. You read it as PHI, phi. It's a Greek letter. Okay. Students, am I audible?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Sir.
Have response, I thought I'm not. Okay. So electric flux, first let's visualize what it means. Anybody who can tell me what is the meaning of electric flux? Anybody who already knows what is an electric flux?
The number of electric fields passing through an area.
Number of electric field lines
Passing through some area.
passing through a given area. That's it.
It should be perpendicular, sir.
That should be perpendicular. That is more important. So if you are able to talk about the number of electric field lines that are passing through a given area perpendicular to it, then that is what we call it as electric flux. But we need to visualize one thing. What is the significance of electric flux? Why do we need this term? Right? Suppose I have a point charge, right? I have a point charge which is an isolated positive charge. Then how is the electric field due to this kind of a system? It is in the radially outward direction. Now the next important question we need to answer is this a uniform field or a non-uniform field?
Uniform field.
Right?
Non-uniform.
It is non-uniform. Yesterday itself I told you, no. Uniform means they are set of
Parallel.
Parallel lines.
parallel rays. That is what is uniform electric field. Non-uniform means at each point the intensity will change. That is the meaning of non-uniform. It's similar to what a non-uniform motion is. Non-uniform motion is velocity will keep changing with respect to time. Similarly, these are all non-uniform electric field lines. Okay. Now, I have only two vectors in my hand. Okay. So, with respect to the point charge, due to the if I have a positive point charge here, then the electric field lines are like this. Right? If they are like this, then they are uniform. If they are like this, then it is non-uniform. Now, what I'm going to do is, I'll take my fingers, the forefinger and the thumb, and I will try to hold them together. What am I able to create? I'm able to create a small hollow space. Right? So that hollow space is a two-dimensional thing and it has some area associated with it. Correct? So if I keep my hand here, and if I keep my hand here, like in this way, if I keep the hands like this, planes that are passing through the hollow space that I've created and perpendicular to the hollow space, then that parameter is what we call it as electric flux.
Can I repeat it again? Point your voice got muted, sir.
Is it for everyone?
Yes, sir. In the middle, it was a little bit laggy.
Okay. What I'm trying to say is, you're able to say, okay, I'll take my hand like this. I'm able to create a hollow space. No. If I keep my hand like this and assume that these lines are passing through my hand, okay, I hold it here like this. Observe, visualize. No. I hold it like this at this point, and I take the same area and hold it at this point. Okay, I'm able to create an area here, I'm able to create an area here. First position, second position. In which position are you able to see the number of field lines passing through it to be maximum? Is it in the first position or in the second position?
Second
If
position.
I put
No, first
number of-
position. First position.
this is the first position because the number of field lines are closer to each other. Means across the same area, when you're close to the charge, you will be able to see more number of electric field lines passing through that given area. So if you are able to define, so if I draw it diagrammatically, it is going to look something like this. If this is an area, if this is also the same area, okay, 1 minute. If this is also the same area, right, I hope you are able to visualize this. Means if it is like a small ring, if I place the small ring at the first position, see, ring means it is going to be like this. But the way I'm seeing, though I'm calling it as ring, but it is having oval shape is because you're seeing it like this. You're seeing a ring like this. You're not seeing it exactly like a circle. You see it like a small oval shape. You see it like a small oval shape. Are you able to understand? Now, first position and second position, logically, at which position is the number of field lines more? The number of field lines.
Position.
First position.
First.
Number of field lines through 1 is more than 2. Okay. So if this kind of a thing, in terms of a layman language, if it is number of field lines, then the technical name given to it is what is called as electric flux, or it can also be called as the density of field lines. So what do you mean by density of field lines? How close or far the lines are at a particular location. Now comes an important question. By defining such a parameter, what am I going to understand? What am I going to achieve? As I told you yesterday, science should have some application. By knowing a parameter called as electric flux, what am I going to achieve? What will I be able to say?
Number of electric field lines passing through a particular point.
Okay, if I say what is going to happen, let it be, who's bothered about number of field lines?
Strength of
The
the
strength
field.
of the field.
Speaks about the strength of the field. It speaks about the strength of the field, and logically we know why is the number of electric field lines more at point 1, because it is closer to the charge, right? So the density of field lines will speak about the strength of the electric field at that particular location. Make an important note. That is the reason why this electric is an important term. Okay, from this we will give a definition to it. Okay, what is the definition? It is the number of field lines, number of electric field lines passing through a given area perpendicular to it. We can say perpendicular or normal to it, both mean the same. Okay, never forget the word perpendicular to it, because I'm going to show you the derivation of this mathematical equation. That time you should understand. Shall I proceed? Now, there is a concept called as area vector. Okay. So though we know area is a scalar quantity, but to represent flux, what we need to do is area needs to be represented as a vector, because we are going to do some vector product between some kind of a vector product between the electric field and the aerial vector to get the mathematical expression for flux. So when I say area is a vector quantity, then I need to give a direction to it. Can someone tell me what is the direction in which aerial vector is?
Perpendicular to the area.
It is perpendicular to whom?
To the planar area.
Perpendicular to the area, is that all? It is perpendicular to the area in the radially outward direction. Please make a note of this point. I'll explain what it is. In the radially outward direction. Okay. So you come across different objects, right? You can come across a two-dimensional object or a three-dimensional object. Suppose this is a paper, right? It has some area. It's okay. Leave the shape. Generally, it has a rectangular shape, right? So this is the area. When I say aerial vector, I'm saying it is perpendicular to the area. What do I mean by in radially outward direction? That is what you need to understand. So when it is two-dimensional, okay, I can take this to be the aerial vector or this to be the aerial vector. It doesn't make any sense. So I can take this as the aerial vector or this as the aerial vector, unless and until it is mentioned in the question. Okay. Whereas if I have a three-dimensional shape in my hand, for example, this water bottle. So this water bottle, if I forget about all these curvatures, generally what shape do you think this is taking? It's in what shape?
Cylinder.
It has,
Cylinder.
it's something like a cylinder. So for a cylinder, you have a curved surface, you have two flat surfaces, the cross-sectional parts, right? You have two flat surfaces. So this flat surface has an area. What is the value of area for it?
Pi r square.
Pi r square.
It is pi r square, right? This curved surface has an area associated with it. What is it? It is a circumference multiplied with the height. 2 pi r h.
2 pi r h.
Similarly, at the bottom you have another area, that is pi r square, right? So this is a three-dimensional shape with two flat surfaces, one curved surface. If I want to find the direction of aerial vector for the flat surface, then what am I supposed to do? I can either keep the aerial vector like this or like this. like this, right? I hope you're able to understand this.
Yes, sir. Yes.
But which one is right? First position or second position? This is very important to solve the problems.
First position.
Sorry?
First position.
It is a first position. The reason being, I told you, for that particular area, you should always take the aerial vector in the radially outward direction. If I take in this direction, it is out of the cylinder. If I take it in the downward direction, it is into the cylinder. Clear? Similarly, for the curved surface, I need to take the area vector in this direction, not in this direction. So this side, if I take a small area here, you're able to see the sticker. No, if I call the sticker as a small area, the direction of the aerial vector for this sticker is in this direction. Similarly, if I take the bottom, for the bottom, the aerial vector is in the downward direction. Purida, is that clear?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes,
Important
sir.
point. Don't forget. I'll be solving an important problem from this chapter, something related to a cube. At that point, you should understand. Okay, now I'm going to derive. See, I told flux is the number of electric field lines that are passing through a given area perpendicular to accepted. If I need to give a mathematical expression to it, how can I give it? That's another question, right? See, what I'm going to do is, I will consider an area I'll consider an area like this. Okay, it is a ring which is again viewed like this. A ring viewed in this way. So you will see only the oval shape. Okay, what is the direction of aerial vector for this? I'll give you two options. Tell me which is right. First option or second option?
First option.
With respect to a ring, a two-dimensional shape, you take any side, it doesn't
Both
matter.
are possible.
Both are right. Okay, what I will do is for derivation purpose, I will take it on the first side. Okay, now let us say I have a set of uniform electric field lines passing through it. I have set of uniform electric field lines passing through it, and this is the direction of aerial vector. Okay. So this is the direction of aerial vector. And this is the electric field. Okay. Now can I write, how do I write the mathematical expression for flux here? I need to stick to the definition. What did the definition say? It told the number of electric field lines that are passing through this area. Can I write the answer as 4? I'm able to see 4 electric field lines are passing through this. Can I write the answer as 4?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes or no?
Yes, sir.
What is the definition? Number of electric field lines passing through a given area.
Perpendicular.
Perpendicular is important. So the answer is not 4.
0.
Right? So it is not 0 also. If I take an area like this, if the electric field is in this direction, for this ring, what is going to be the perpendicular direction? The perpendicular direction for the ring will be the direction of the aerial vector.
Yeah.
Yes. So what will happen if I take this angle as theta? Listen to this carefully. Then I can resolve the electric field into two components. What are the two components? I can call it as E cos theta and
E sin theta.
sin theta. Out of E cos theta and E sin theta, which is a component which is perpendicular to the ring?
E cos theta.
E cos theta. So mathematically flux is defined as the product of E cos theta. That is the product of the magnitude of the electric field vector in the direction of aerial vector and the area itself. Okay, electric field is a vector quantity, area is a vector quantity. So AB cos theta can be written as A vector dot B vector. So flux can also be written as electric field vector dot aerial vector. So this is the mathematical expression for flux. Which flux? Electric flux. Right? Is this clear, guys?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Now, what is the type of physical quantity? So, electric flux is it a scalar quantity or a vector quantity?
Vector.
Sorry?
Vector. Is it vector?
Avingla day. You do dot product between two vectors, you will get a vector output.
What product is a scalar?
Sorry, sir. Scalar.
Scalar product. It's a scalar quantity. It's a scalar quantity. Okay. Now, what is going to be the SI unit for it? Electric flux is measured in Newton per coulomb. Area is measured in meter square. And cos theta doesn't have any unit. So, it is Newton meter square per coulomb. Or, I gave you an alternate SI unit for electric field. Do you guys remember that? If not, you can refer the notes and tell me. I told that it will be used in the next chapter.
Volt per meter.
Sorry?
Volt per meter.
Very good.
Volt per meter.
Volt per meter into meter square. Meter and meter will get cancelled. Volt meter. So electric flux has two SI units. What is it? It can either be Newton meter square per coulomb or volt meter. Okay.
Sir, but here theta indicates the direction, right, sir?
Huh? I didn't get
Here
it.
it's the direction, right, sir?
Your voice is breaking. Can you message me?
Sir,
Here, what did you say? Here?
Here theta indicates the direction, right?
Theta is the angle between electric field and aerial vector.
Yes, sir. So
Theta,
angle. Yes, sir. So the angle is direction, sir.
not every time. You got confused then. When they are asking what is the direction of resultant, that is angle. That is the direction. Okay. Here it is just like two lines are there, between them the angles are defined. That's it. Theta is the angle between electric field and aerial vector. That's it. If electric field is like this, aerial vector is like this, then the angle is given. How are you going to find the flux? Okay. From this, there are some special cases that are going to come. Special cases of electric flux. See, I'm going to tell some important words. Concentrate, okay? They will twist these things in question. Suppose one, two, three, four. Okay. Okay, I'm taking three different scenarios like this. One like this, and the other is like this. Okay, and the other is like this. Okay. This is electric field, this is also electric field, this is also electric field. I want everybody to draw this. Like draw it in your notes. Okay. Now, in the first case, if you see, the electric field is like this and the coil is placed like this. The area through which you need to calculate is placed like this. So what is the direction of this aerial vector? It is in this direction. Right? So what is the angle between electric field and aerial vector in the first case?
Sir, how did you find the direction of the aerial vector, sir?
This is electric field drum. Okay. Rectangular coil is placed like this. Rectangular coil is placed like this.
Okay, sir.
Now the aerial vector will be in this direction. No? For the rectangle, the aerial vector is supposed to be perpendicular. It is in this direction.
Oh, okay, sir.
What is the angle between them?
90.
90.
90 degree.
theta is equal to 90 degrees if I take, what will be the flux?
Cos theta will be 0.
Cos 90 will be 0, flux is 0. So mathematically flux is 0, but what is that we need to understand? Though there are electric field lines, none of the electric field lines are passing through this area, they are passing over this area. Puriyada? This language is very important. Okay. None of
Sir, should we always assume it a three-dimensional form, sir?
I didn't understand.
No,
Can
sir.
you
The electric field lines and the electric flux direction should we always assume it as three-dimensional form, sir? Like the way we assume the question in the first case.
electric flux does not have any direction, but did you use the word saying the electric flux direction? Electric flux does not have any direction. Electric field has direction, aerial vector has direction. So for you to calculate electric flux, you just need to find the magnitude of E vector, magnitude of A vector, and multiply with cos of the angle between these two.
Okay, sir.
Okay?
Yes, sir.
Second case, what has happened? This is the way electric field is, and the way I kept this is perpendicular. Okay, I kept it like this. Now, the electric field is in this direction. What is the direction of aerial vector? For this rectangular coil, what is the direction of aerial vector? It is still in the same direction. Okay. So here, coil, I'm not using the word coil. Rectangle is placed perpendicular to electric field. Okay, when the rectangle is placed perpendicular to electric field, listen to this carefully. Can I say it is placed parallel to the aerial vector of it?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Right. So whenever they use the word, see, why I am stressing on this point, no, most common mistake that will happen is whenever they say there is an area which is perpendicular to electric field, what will our mind think? You will by default write theta is equal to how much? You will see the perpendicular 90, you will get the answer as 0, but that is not the answer. When the loop is placed perpendicular to the electric field, maximum flux will flow through it. Maximum flux. And the reason being, electric field and aerial vector will be in the same direction. What will be the value of theta?
180 degrees.
0 degrees.
Zero.
Sir, when in the first case also the rectangular chord is perpendicular to the aerial vector, so then how can theta value is less than?
You listen to the statement carefully. First case I told rectangle is perpendicular to electric field. I didn't say aerial vector. Okay. The rectangle is perpendicular to electric field in such a way that the aerial vector and electric field are perpendicular. The orientation is chosen in that way. Like this. Actually, I'm sorry, it is not perpendicular, it is in the plane of the electric field. It is like this. This electric field. For this rectangle, aerial vector is like this in the first case. That is why theta is equal to 90 degrees. Whereas now, the electric field is in this direction, and aerial vector is also in this direction. Electric field and rectangle are perpendicular to each other. Okay. So that is the reason why I took theta is equal to 0 degrees. Flux will be equal to E into A into cos 0 degrees. That is E into A. This is the maximum flux that can flow through any coil. Okay. In the third case, what I did is, I took this as the electric field. Okay. And the coil is kept like this. And the coil is kept in this way. So what will be the direction of, so when imagine, okay, electric field is in this direction, then the aerial vector of this coil will be in this direction, and electric field is in this direction. So what is going to be the angle between them? It's some non-zero value. We are not concerned about what it is. It is some non-zero value. So the electric field will be in this direction, and in this case, flux will be equal to E into A into cos theta. Does it make sense, guys? Are you able to understand?
Yes, sir.
Right?
Repeat once again how
So
to.
can you repeat the third case once, sir?
So,
Electric field is like this. Coil is placed like this. Okay. So coil is, you are able to see the perpendicular to the coil. This is what?
Electric field.
Aerial vector. This is the electric field.
Okay, sir.
This is the electric. That is why theta is 0. Don't worry, we are going to do a problem based on it. I want everybody to try this. Okay. See, in that problem they would have asked about Gauss law, but as of now, don't worry about it. That I'll teach next. This is the one. Okay, I'll do 1.12, then I'll come to 1.11 because that is tougher than 1.2. I want everybody to write, okay? It's a tricky question and please be careful with it. So listen, there is an electric field which is uniform. So when they give uniform, what should come to your mind? Set of parallel rays. And it is in the positive x direction for positive x and uniform with the same magnitude but in negative direction for negative x. Okay. So the electric field value is given as 200 I cap Newton per Coulomb, okay, for x greater than 0. And the same electric field is 200 minus I cap. Look at the way I'm looking at it. I didn't write it as minus 200. I wrote it as 200 minus I cap Newton per Coulomb when the value of x is less than 0. Okay. There is a right circular cylinder of length 20 centimeter and radius 5 centimeter, has its center at the origin and its axis along the x-axis. Okay. If I take this as a cylinder, then how do I define the axis of it? It is an imaginary line passing from the top flat surface to the bottom flat surface. Correct? So the rectangular loop is placed like this, with the center at the origin and its axis along the x-axis, so that one face is at x is equal to plus 10 centimeter and the other is at x is equal to minus 20 centimeter. So shall we proceed? Now what they are saying is there is a right circular cylinder placed in this way. Okay. Its center is at the origin and its axis is along the x-axis. So that one face, when they say the face, the flat surface is what they are trying to talk about. This flat surface is at x is equal to 10 centimeter and the other flat surface is at x is equal to minus 10 centimeter. Okay. So if I drop a perpendicular and I call this as y-axis, this is x-axis, this is minus x-axis, y dash. Okay. So the cylinder you can actually divide it into two parts for us to visualize. Okay. Positive part and negative part. So for the positive part, what is the direction of electric field? It is 200 I cap. For the negative part, what is the electric field? It is
200 minus I cap.
200 minus I cap. Correct? Now comes an important point. What is the net outward flux through each flat face? So this is first flat face, this is second flat face. So flux through the first flat face is equal to, since they have given the expression in terms of vector, that is in terms of unit vectors, I would also prefer to write it in terms of unit vector. Can I write it? So I can call it as E vector dot A vector. I will just put a number 1 here. Means I am trying to say what is the electric field through the first flat surface, aerial vector of the first flat surface. Now you guys tell me now, how much is it? Electric field through the first flat surface is 200 I cap dot. Correct? 200 I cap dot what is A1 in terms of vector? It is
10
5.
I caps.
Okay. 10 is the distance, area of the flat surface. They have given something, no. The radius is 5 centimeter. The radius of the flat surface is 5 centimeter. Then what will be the area of it? Pi r square. So pi into 5 into 10 power minus 2 the whole square. Did you understand why I wrote 5 into 10 power minus 2? Because it is in centimeter. Pi r square. But for the pi r square, tell me the correct direction. Flat surface, aerial vector. Is this the direction of aerial vector or this the direction? Is it I cap or minus I cap?
I cap.
I cap.
I cap.
So then what will be our answer? It will be 200 into pi into 25 into 10 power minus 4. I cap dot I cap is how much? It is 1.
1.
Okay. So 2 zeros are gone. 10 power minus 2, 25 2s is 50, 50 pi into 10 power minus 2 or 5 pi into 10 power minus 2 Newton meter square per coulomb. That is the total amount of electric flux coming out from this side. Am I clear?
There should be 5 pi into 10 power minus 1, right?
Huh?
You've given, sir, it should be 5 pi into 10 power minus 1, right?
Right. Just 0.5 pi. Yeah. 5 pi into 10 power minus 1 Newton meter square per coulomb. Okay. Similarly, what is the flux through the second flat surface? This is where confusion starts. That is E2 vector dot A2 vector. What is E2 vector?
200 minus I cap.
200 minus I cap.
Dot area of the second flat surface.
Pi into 5 into 10 to the power minus 2.
Same story.
No, pi into 5 into 10 to the power minus 2 also.
That's right. So for this flat surface, what is the direction of aerial vector? Minus I cap or plus I cap?
Minus I cap.
Minus I cap.
Minus I cap.
Minus I cap. If you don't know this fact, you will get a wrong answer. Here also what are you going to get? When you calculate everything, you will get 5 pi into 10 power minus 1 Newton meter square per coulomb. I wrote it directly because minus into minus is going to give you plus and remaining story is the same as that of the first case. Okay. So they asked what? What is the net outward flux through each flat face? You calculate it through the first, you calculate it through the second. The second part is, what is the flux through the side of the cylinder? That is third surface. Flux through side of cylinder. Who can tell me the answer?
So is it EA?
So
Is it?
Sir, we don't know the direction.
La-
We don't know
2
the
pi
direction of
RH.
electric field lines towards the sun.
2 pi RH is not needed because electric field is confined to which direction?
Positive.
Only
sir.
to the two
Either
faces.
right
sir.
cap
right.
or minus. It is completely along x direction. But for the flat
So
surface,
E cap and A cap are parallel. I mean perpendicular to each other.
so for the flat, for the curved surface, the aerial vector is either in the direction of j cap or in the direction of k cap. So what I'm trying to say is, the aerial vector for the curved surface is always perpendicular to the electric field. Hence, the answer is 0. Electric field and aerial vector are always perpendicular. Hence, the electric field is going to be 0. No, sorry, electric flux is going to be 0. That's it.
Explain this again, sir.
Electric field is along x direction, either this direction or this direction. But the aerial vector for the curved surface is perpendicular to it, right? So if I take this as a flat surface, this as a curved surface, if I take this portion, for this portion the aerial vector is in this direction. So the aerial vector will be either in direction of j cap or k cap or in the yz plane. So we know the dot product between two perpendicular vectors is always a 0, hence the flux through that particular side is 0. Means you cannot find any electric field lines coming out of these surfaces. They come either out of this flat surface or out of this flat surface. It is purely because of the orientation of the electric field. Clear? So what is the net? They are asking what is the net outward flux through the cylinder. So net flux is equal to flux through the first surface plus flux through the second surface plus flux through the third surface. So how much is it? 5 pi into 10 power minus 1 plus 5 pi into 10 power minus 1 plus 0. So that will be 10 pi into 10 power minus 1, that will be, this and this will get cancelled, pi Newton meter square per.
Sir, if they're asking the total flux means we have to calculate for the fourth phase also, no, sir?
What fourth phase is there? Cylinder, there are only 3 phases.
Oh, sir, I thought that perpendicular is
Curve is flat. Okay. What is the net charge inside the cylinder? You cannot calculate now because you don't know what is Gauss law. I have not taught it. But are you guys clear with what is how to calculate flux? That is more important for me.
Yes, sir.
Now we will do a slightly tougher one. This involves a little bit of mathematics, so please listen. Now see. The electric field components in the figure 1.27 are Ex is equal to alpha into x power half, Ey is equal to Ez is equal to 0, and the value of alpha is given as Newton per Coulomb meter power half. Calculate the flux through the cube. The charge within the cube, again you cannot calculate because Gauss law is needed. Okay. Assume A is equal to 0.1 meter. Do you understand what the question is? So there is a cube. A cube is placed somewhere in the space and one of the points is considered as origin. Now if you try to define the electric field in this question also is confined to which direction? Is confined only to x direction. So Ex is equal to
minus I cap.
sorry?
Plus I cap minus I cap.
Here it is not the case. Here it is only plus I cap because they told Ex is equal to alpha into x power half. I'll explain what it is.
Okay, sir.
Okay. Ey is equal to Ez is equal to 0 means electric field along y direction is 0, electric field along z direction is also 0. So the meaning of Ex is equal to alpha into x power half is electric field is non-uniform. Because how did they give electric field in the previous question? They told 200 I cap. Correct? So 200 I cap on the right of the origin, that is on the positive x-axis. So on the positive x-axis, excuse me. So on the positive x-axis, I'll take two. 1 minute. I'll take 2 points A and B. Okay, in the previous question. If I ask you what is electric field at point A and what is electric field at point B, what will your answer be? Tell me only in terms of magnitude.
Both are 200.
Both are 200. That is the meaning of uniform. Had the previous question been 200 x square I cap, then if I ask you what is the value of electric field at A and B, are they going to be the same? The answer is
No, sir.
no, because if I have origin, let's say this is at a distance of 2 centimeter or 2 meter, and this is at a distance of 4 meter, then what am I supposed to do? I need to find what is the value of x here, 2 comma 0, here it will be 4 comma 0. So what is the electric field at A? It is 200 into, in the place of x I will substitute 2. So 2 square I cap. Similarly, electric field at B will be 200 into
4
complete
square.
Square.
4 square. I
4
cap.
square. Are you able to understand? So this is the meaning of non-uniform. If the electric field is varying from point to point, then we call it as non-uniform. And in this case, if you see electric field is non-uniform, unlike the previous question, here the electric field is confined only to positive x direction. Means even if I am on the left of the origin, even if I am on the left of the x-axis, I still have the electric field in this direction only. Whereas in previous question, on the right of origin, the electric field was to the right, on the left of origin, electric field was to the left. That is how they defined it. You're able to understand? This is a very, very tricky point, but you need to be clear about it. Clear, Ada?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Now see. I'm removing all these things. So first work that we need to do is, we need to define the electric field at points. So one data that is missing in the question is, the distance from the origin 0, 0, 0 to this point, right? Let me name it as 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Or you can name it as A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, your wish. Okay. Okay, I'll label it like that because so I'll call it as A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H. Okay. So the point A from the origin is at a distance A. That is a point that is missing in the question. They didn't give it. We have to take it that way. Okay. So A is how much? So what is the coordinate of point A? Tell me that.
A comma 0 comma 0.
Very good. A comma 0 comma 0. Point B is how much? Because B is also a point. A comma
0 comma 0.
It's not A.
It's 2A, sir.
2A.
2A comma 0 comma 0. Correct. What about point B? Point B is XZ plane.
A comma 0 comma
A comma
A comma 0 comma A. Point C is? It is also in the XZ plane.
2A comma 0
2A comma 0 comma 2A.
It is A. 2A comma 0 comma A. Because this distance is A only. So 2A comma 0 comma A. Don't get confused, okay? Similarly, for point E,
A comma 0.
so point E is in which plane? It is in the XY plane. A comma 0. Similarly, point F.
A comma A.
Point G.
2A comma A comma A.
2A comma?
A comma A.
Perfect. 2A comma A comma A. What about H?
A comma 0.
H is also in XY plane.
2A comma A comma 0.
2A comma A comma 0.
So if you know all these points, then what we can do is, if I take this as the first surface, this as the second surface, okay. So electric field near the first surface is how much? Electric field near the first surface is how much? They told electric field is only along x direction. It is alpha into x power half. It is alpha into, so point 1, the phase 1 is close to, is on A and B. If you observe for A, B, F and E, what is the x coordinate?
Same.
It is K only. So alpha into A power half is the electric field due to the first surface, electric field at the first surface in terms of I cap. That is alpha A power half I cap. Similarly, what is the electric field at the second surface? So second surface.
2a power half.
Alpha 2a power.
Alpha 2a into 1.
Perfect, guys. Perfect. Good. Alpha into 2a power half into I cap. Okay. Now, what are the, so how many faces does a cube have? It has 6 surfaces, right? What is the flux through the first cube? So the first surface is like this. Electric field is in this direction. Okay, first surface is like this. Electric field is in this direction. It is piercing through the cube. Then what is the direction of aerial vector for this? What is the direction? So if I call electric field is in the, okay, I'll show it as per you, how you visualize this. If the electric field is in the direction of I cap, then what will be the direction of aerial vector for the first phase?
Same direction, sir.
Opposite.
Opposite direction, radially outward.
Because
Theta is 180.
the electric field is piercing into the cube, but aerial vector has to be radially outward. They have given in the question C n cap L direction. N cap L means it's in the leftward direction. Okay, so electric field is to the right dot A1 vector. So electric field at the first surface is alpha into A power half into I cap dot, what is aerial vector of the first? What is the area of first side? The area of this side is A square. A square in which direction?
Minus I cap.
That's correct. So alpha into A power half into A square will give you A power 5 by 2. I cap dot I cap is 1 with the minus sign is going to give you minus alpha power 5 by 2. That's it. Newton meter square per coulomb. Here minus sign doesn't indicate negative number. The minus sign indicates that the electric flux is coming out of the surface. It will be the number of, it should be taken like the number of electric field lines leaving the surface. Okay. Similarly, what is the flux through the second side? Same formula. E2 vector dot A2 vector. So E2 vector dot A2 vector is just a minute. Okay, E2 vector dot A2 vector. E2 is how much? No? Alpha.
Alpha 2a.
Power half in the direction of I cap dot. What is A2 vector?
A square I cap.
It's again A square.
A square I cap because the second phase is like this. The second phase is like this. The electric field is coming in this direction, and for the second surface, the outer side is this side. So electric field and aerial vector both will be in the same direction. So it will be root 2 into alpha into A power 5 by 2. I cap dot I cap is 1. Those many Newton meter square per coulomb. Okay. Now tell me what will be the flux through the remaining surfaces?
0.
Right.
There's no electric field through it.
Okay.
Because
And 0 because
they are perpendicular to it.
0.
Mathematical.
They are perpendicular to it.
Perpendicular. First surface, third. Let's say top surface is 3rd, bottom surface is 4th. Electric field is in horizontal direction. For the top surface, aerial vector will be in the upward direction. Electric field this side, aerial vector upwards, 0. For the bottom surface, electric field this side, aerial vector downwards. theta is equal to 90, 0. What about the other two faces? One face is like this. Electric field is in x direction, areal vector is towards me. Flux is 0. Similarly, if I take ADEH, the electric field is this way, areal vector is this way. Okay, so through the remaining sides, the flux is 0. So flux through third is equal to fourth is equal to fifth is equal to sixth is equal to 0, since theta is equal to 90 degrees. So the net flux is equal to phi 1 plus phi 2 plus phi 3 plus phi 4 plus phi 5 plus phi 6. You should always make it a practice to write the sum of all the sides. Then, since this is 0, phi 1 is how much? Alpha into minus alpha a power 5 by 2 plus this is root 2 alpha raised to the power of 5 by 2. So alpha a power 5 by 2 into root 2 minus 1 will be the required answer. Okay, alpha they gave something, no 800 something, those parts you substituted. Okay, A is 0.1 something. So this is the total amount of electric flux that is passing through the whole cube. Puridam, is it clear?
Yes.
Yes, sir.
So this is all about electric flux. Okay. So the next topics that are left out are what is Gauss law and their applications. So maximum 2 more classes. I would need 1 more class this week as a compensation for last Wednesday's class. I'll update you about it. Okay.
Okay, sir.
Okay, sir.
So I have a
2 more.
doubt here.
Sorry, da?
So I have a doubt in this
Tell me.
question. So here they gave EY EZ equal to 0, right? So if they give a value for EY and EZ, how should we approach?
Means electric field along y direction and electric field along z direction is same. There is no electric field in that direction.
No, in case they give a value.
Had they been a,
Yes, sir. If they had been having an electric field value.
and then you have to, like, see, for example, had the question been like alpha y is equal to, EY is equal to alpha into y power or y square, something like this. Then what you should have done is, you should have taken the electric field in this direction. Y direction is upward, no? So, electric field near the face EFGH will be how much? Remember, EY is equal to alpha into y square. So electric field along the face EFGH, the top surface. So for the top surface EFGH, what is the y coordinate?
It's
EFGH. So it would have been alpha a square. Alpha a square in the direction of j cap. Similarly, the electric field through the side ABCD, you tell me that.
It'll be
For
minus,
ABCD,
it'll be minus alpha a square.
look at
I
the
mean
value.
0, sir.
Minus j.
0 na? Because the y coordinate for ABCD is 0. I need to substitute y coordinate here, no? The y value there.
Yes, I understood.
So the only electric field that would have existed in y direction is alpha a square into j cap. So alpha a square into j cap into the topmost surface. Topmost surface areal vector would have been a square j cap. Then you will do the dot between them, then you will find the value. That's it. That's how they can ask.
So we don't have to add EX plus EY and find an electric field or something.
Don't do that mistake. No, it is not like that. You need not do it. If you want to write it as a single entity also, you can do it. If you want to do like that, I'll explain to the next class. Please remind me. But I would
Okay.
suggest to go individually. That is better.
Okay, sir.
Okay. Okay. That's it from my side, guys. Any other doubt?
No, sir.
Okay, then. Okay, I'll see you guys.
Thank you, sir.
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 Thank you.